Welcome to Test Dive, conference organized by Nokia.
Who's laughing now? Perfect. Awesome. But again, while this might sound like a joke, I literally started to think whether I'm able to build my entire career based on magic. And having doubts in that, I also decided to join the IT industry, also 14 years ago, which pretty much, I started at Nokia and then went through all the steps of a quality assurance career ladder. Currently, I'm a quality engineering manager, and I'm building processes, building teams, building the culture that is oriented on and focused on the quality. I have a couple of remarks before we even start. First of all, even though I am a coach, I won't ask you even once to get outside your comfort zone. So stay comfortable, okay? Stay safe. Second of all, this is not kind of a story that I was a zero and I'm a hero, and you can follow this path. No. This is the story and lecture about my failures and the struggles that I have. I had and I still have. And I really believe that if you can extract at least the one thing from what I've learned through all the pain and things that I experienced, it will make everything that I went through a way better experience for me, right? So just one thing. If you can get it from this lecture, then it will make my day. And the third and last remark, your wallets are safe. Don't need to grab and check for them. At some point of my magician career, I started to think about how I can translate the experience that I have in the magic and entertainment industry into the things that I'm doing on the quality assurance field. And I would like to present to you 4 key learnings from this exercise. First of all, we start from important soft skills for any person. I've mentioned the QA field, but it's literally for everyone. Communication skills, not a big of a surprise. In entertainment, business, and even in the social engineering, we have a statement or a term of social bubbles. What does it mean? Well, basically people that are having something in common are living in their own bubble. So for example, when I was doing a walk-around show, when I was walking around the tables, the people that were sharing the same table were functioning in a same social bubble. They were sharing their common time. Usually they knew each other. Usually they have any kind of a meal together. They had something that they could talk about. And then there was me, who had to approach them and say like, hey, what's up? Would you like to see some magic? And literally, I remember my first walk-around show when there was around 200 people, and they were sitting in roughly 20 tables, and I was barely able to approach 2 of them, because it's really hard to enter any kind of a social bubble. Think about this. When you will go to a break, people will clump into the groups. They will gather around the tables or stand in the circles. How hard for you it is to actually approach to them and start conversation if you don't have anything in common, if you don't know those people, right? Super, super hard. That's why I believe that the way how we communicating, how we expressing our thoughts and intention is a key competency, even if we are in a corporate setup. Why? Well, because the quality assurance job is a job about communication. You need to talk to developers, they have their own bubble. You need to talk to product managers, they have their own bubble. You need to talk to the business, they have their own bubble. Then you need to talk to the managers. Boy, they have their own bubble, right? And there's a lot of bubbles that you need to be able to walk into, express your thoughts, express your ideas, and then go on with your work. And I have extremely easy exercise that you can start doing today in your place, in a bathroom, in a bus, wherever. Just grab your phone, think about the idea that you want to express, write it down on paper, turn the sheet upside down so you won't see the idea, record yourself, and try to explain the idea that you've written down. Then listen back and think whether you actually mentioned what you really wanted to say. According to the recent research, over 55% of a verbal communication is misunderstood, which means that at least half of what I'm saying right now might be misunderstood by you. Crazy stuff. That's why I believe that ability to communicate with others is a key to success, both in Magic and in the IT as well. Second thing, enthusiasm. I really like this one. Think about this. Would you like to be treated by a doctor which doesn't have a passion towards what he does? No one? No one would like to risk a little bit? No? Okay. Would you like to have a teacher that doesn't have a passion? I mean, I know we all did have one, right? In our education, but that's not the point. It wasn't our decision, right? So then the question is, why do we believe that if we will be a grumpy cat, people will enjoy working with us? I had one engineer which I was working with, and he was literally like this guy. He even like the grumpy cat. He even had the same facial expression all the time. And I remember every single daily when I was thinking whether he's going to survive or faint because he's so low on energy. Everything that he does was on so low energy level. It was like, okay, what's your update? Literally every single day. And you probably see that I have a lot of energy while standing here on stage because I really like what I do. And I really like being here on stage as well. And I think that there's a perfect comparison to illustrate how enthusiasm can turn everything that you do. Think about this. If you take eggs, if you take flour, if you take sugar and butter and you will mix them together, what you will get? Like some unattractive mix of all those ingredients. Would you like to eat it? Nah, maybe the other day. But there's only one ingredient needed to turn this into something delicious and outstanding, like a beautiful sponge. And this ingredient is a heat. It's the passion that can turn everything that you do into something on the very next level. And I'm not saying that you're supposed to laugh all the time and be like, hey, let's do some debugging session together. No, it's not about this. But it's about finding the joy in what we do. And that brings the passion. And I believe that this is the behavior that all the effective employees that I've seen so far in the companies that I work for, all of them are sharing this common factor that they are all enthusiastic about the things that they do. And last but not least, openness. Oh God, we forgot about this one. We actually forgot that IT is a people's business. And we often think, well, IT, it's all about the coding language that you use. It's all about design patterns. It's all about AI. It's all about testing. It's all about product development. It's all about what we sell to the customers. I'm going to sneeze because I'm allergic to bee. I think I'm not allowed to say this on stream. Yeah, but you get the idea. People are standing behind everything that we do in IT. They're building products, they're creating technological advantage that we have as a company, they're doing everything that stands behind what we sell to the customers. In other words, if you get rid of the people from your company, you basically can shut down the entire company. And I believe I have really controversial but interesting theory about this. And I like to call it the S company case. Let's assume that there is a company which builds mobile phones. And their phones are so great that I would say that they are explosive. And I believe that in the entire company, when we had an example like that in a real life, in the entire company, there was at least one engineer who knew why those phones were blowing up. How I know this? Well, because they fixed it with one software update. If this would be a hardware issue or anything like this, they would have to exchange all the batteries in their phones, right? But they fix it with a software update. But I believe that this guy was so mistreated earlier on, was not treated as a human being, and that's why he decided to remain silent. That's how big and how important it is to actually be open to other people. And it is illustrated by my favorite quote from Neil deGrasse Tyson. One of the great challenges of this world is knowing enough about the subject to think you are right, but not enough about the subject to know you are wrong. Let it sink. People may know something that we don't know. And I remember when I was manual tester and I went to the developers so proud because I found such a corner case that now I can be proud of. I can showcase that I'm really important in this company, that I earn my paycheck. I go to them and they say like, but it works. Well, I just show you that it doesn't. Well, but it works. Yeah, but I just show you. Yeah, but you used the old build and I found this and I even sent a message, but I probably forgot to mention you, but I sent a message that we know this issue and we are already working on this, so yeah. Or the other way around. Hey, the requirements has changed. Yeah, there is a laugh, okay. Let's connect after the lecture. I think that this is the great story behind this laugh in the changing requirements. And there's a lot of things that other people know, or maybe they're just having a bad day, maybe they are not in the mood, maybe they're just like, all the enthusiasm in the world that you can have won't help in bringing or asking them for something, do something or anything like this. We just need to be open and understand each other. We have to learn to listen other people, not to know what to answer to them, but actually to learn how to understand them. And I have a manager right now, and I really enjoy talking with him because he's always trying to understand me. Sometimes he doesn't know what to reply, but he always understands how I feel. And think about this, whether you prefer someone who always knows what to reply to you, or someone who always understands your situation, your pain, your struggle, things like this. Second learning, from the magic straight to the IT, how to avoid burnout and routine. And I would like to show you a movie of my hands. And this is the practice session that I did. I did a lot of practicing earlier on. It was roughly 3-4 hours of practice every single day, 36, 5 days in a year. And this is like compressed, this is like 3-hour session compressed into 2 minutes video. And look at the amount of repetitions that are happening. And I think that this may bring to you some ideas about regression testing, feature testing, in terms of how many or how much repetitive work are we doing in the IT and industry over and over again. So yeah, this will take a little bit to go through this video, but if you think about this, people very often say like, it's really good to have a routine. Well, I agree with that. But the case is that what routine does, it kills you slowly. Why? Well, because you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. And I've experienced this with my kids. They like fruits. They like blueberries. And I thought like, okay, if they like blueberries, well, I will buy a lot of blueberries, right? So whenever I was buying blueberries, they were eaten, and then I've bought another box. They were eaten, and so on and so on. How long does it take for people to get bored of blueberries? 3 days. right? 3 days. That was the amount of time that they needed to get bored by the blueberries. Even that they love it. At some point, we get bored of it. So how we can avoid burnout and routine? A small change in the daily routine, because it brings to our life something that is called a cognitive freshness. Ooh, smart word. Basically, our brain, if we decided to break the routine, to add some changes to it, doesn't perceive it as the same routine. It's becoming fresh again. Interesting. A pattern that our brain started to digest to actually be able to assimilate this in the end. So the question is, you are at the conference, and you are probably in the conference before, and the question is, how many times you were on a conference learning anything like this and did not even brought a single thing from the conference, learning, whatever, to your daily routine? Please raise your hand. Yeah, and I'm guilty as charged as well. So even from today, think about one thing that you can introduce into your daily routine, right? This will do a change. Obviously, there is a lot of things that we can do within the routine, mix it, change it, maybe do some pair testing, cross-team testing, things like this. Do something fresh. Think about the time management. I get this a lot in my my coaching practice. People are coming to me and saying like, okay, how to manage my time, how to be more productive, how to understand the productivity. And I'm saying you can't understand the productivity if you won't be able to understand the distractions that you have. Think about this. If you're working on your PC and then you're doing something and then you will see an email notification. Just by the fact that you've looked on this email notification, your brain needs 8 minutes to fully recover to the amount of consciousness or to the amount of focus that you have before doing so. 8 minutes. That's why I'm not using any kind of a launcher on my phone that has the notifications on. This is literally what it looks like. It's black and white and doesn't have notifications on. Because I don't want to get distracted. Even the fact that you can do stuff on your phone and have it within your hand reach will make your brain subconsciously think about the stuff that you can do on your mobile. Crazy thing. But obviously there's a lot of rules to manage your time, do the most important thing at the first thing in the morning. Like if you have to eat a frog, just eat it. You cannot just delay it. What should I do when I have 2 frogs to eat? Well, eat the biggest one first. Then it's going to be easier. And regular breaks. This is outstanding. 1993, gentleman named Erickson conducted a series of research over violin players. They divided them into 3 groups. Best one, average one, and the worst one. Gave them the same exercise, and after a month, they checked the results. Well, the best one did the best job, the average did the average job, and the worst one did the worst job. But what was the only difference in this? The amount of sleep. The best ones, 8.6 hours of sleep on average per day, plus 2 naps. The worst one, roughly 7 hours of sleep, no naps, no rest during the day. We're working hard, but we need to rest hard as well. And even if you are in front of a PC, oh, come on, let's do it right now, especially if you're in open space. So I will ask you to stand up for a second. Yeah, I'm not joking. If I would joke, I would say a priest, a horse, and a dead man comes to a bar, right? But it's not this one. And let's do this. Let's raise your right hand up. Be careful. Yeah, this is the right. Yeah, everyone are like, right, okay, cool. And we will do a little bit of a stretching. So we will stretch to the left, and then we just repeat. No, come on, wait for the instructions. Come on, you're the QA people, right? You're supposed to wait for the instructions. Come on. And then we will do the same with the left hand. We're going to tilt on the right side, but we do this on the count of 3, okay? So 1, 2, 3, and stretch. Oh, Jesus, okay. And now the left hand. And 1, 2, 3, and stretch. Perfect. You can sit down. And I think that you already feel that you are a little bit energized, but I'm really amazed by the fact that you actually did it. That's crazy in our small universe. That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay. So breaks are equally important. Okay, let's speed up. How to stay motivated and still bring value to your work. I really like this photo. It reminds me of 5 years that I spent developing this single trick. It lasts for 1.5 minutes, something like this. I was struggling a lot with it. I had an idea. I was shaping it, trying it, reshaping, rethinking, adding techniques, removing, adding words, and stuff like that. 5 years that led me to this one single moment. And this is the only picture that isn't a picture of my family that is hanging on the wall in my room. Why? Because this is a story of success for me. And we all think, and this is the experience that I have from recruitment process, that every single time when I'm asking people like, okay, tell me about your experience, but tell me about the things that you are proud of. Tell me about the things that you changed, that are positive, that are your victories, your success in the current work. And people are like, okay, let's talk about the failures. Now we can talk. And this is because we have the primal instinct that we often focus on the failures, because when we were living in the caves, not in the cages, in the caves, right? When you failed, well, you die, pretty much. There was always a bigger animal, there was always a bigger tribe, so failures means something bad. But we supposed to learn to focus on what's the good side of our work, on the victories. And I even did this because I have an imposter syndrome as well. I had one. And I started to writing down all the things at the end of the day that I'm grateful for towards myself. And there was the other part of the exercise, because the very next day when I was starting my day, I was standing in front of a mirror and I was reading this back to myself, like, Grzegorz, I would like to thank you for this, right? And I remember my wife when she saw me doing this. She was like walking next to our bathroom, did this, went by, and it's like, okay. She then came to do her stuff and then come back again, give me the look and give me the head shake, like, okay. But it was important for me to celebrate the victories. And I think that we're supposed to rediscover this, how we can celebrate even the small victories in our life. And the last but not the least thing, why it sometimes pays to be a little kid again. Well, little kids, I have 3 of them, they ask a lot of questions. And I was such kind of a kid. And now the nature brought her revenge because I'm experiencing this as a parent. So when I was a kid, I was asking, Mommy, why? Daddy, why I have to do this? Why we're doing things like this? And they were saying to me something like, well, it's a common sense. Or when you're more mature, you understand. And I knew that they didn't have a really good answer to this question when they were saying this. So every single time, because in our work, the knowledge is the power that we have, if you will ask the product managers why we are doing such kind of a feature, and they will say to you, well, it's a common design choice, or it's a market need. They don't have a really good answer for this. So this is the place where we should dig. But there is a really deeper layer to this question. We should all be willing and brave enough to ask the question why, but mainly towards ourselves. And I remember one day that's supposed to be the best day of my life as a magician, because I started the work in magic because I wanted to be famous. I wanted to be the most interesting person in the room. I wanted to be like in the spotlight, right? So in 2014, I've met my mentor, which I was working with for 5 years then, and he brought a person with him. It was the best close-up magician of the world, twice. And we spent the entire day discussing things. I showed them my tricks, my ideas, and they said, like, that's brilliant, we want to publish your tricks in our books. I came back to the hotel room, I looked at the mirror, and I was like, what's going on? Because I was feeling empty inside. Literally like nothing. It's supposed to be the greatest day of my life. The very next day, I've made a hard call. I called to my mentor and said, like, hey, I cannot do this anymore. I need to quit. I need to figure out why I want to do this. I stopped performing for more than 2 years. And after 2 years, I found my reason why. I know that being a manager, being a father, being a husband, being here on stage and talking to you, being a magician gives me an opportunity to share my story. and influence others to make their day a slightly better. And this is my true why. This is the reason why I want to do stuff. So when you will be driving the elevator to your floor in the office, think about the emotions that you're feeling. Why you're agreeing to feel those emotions. When you will park your car in a parking garage next to your office, what do you feel? What do you feel when you're meeting the same people for 100 of times, thousands of times? And why you agree on this? Why you're doing things in your life? And I remember I had a coaching session. This will be the last example for today. I had a coaching session with one of my clients, and we had a conversation started as usually. I asked him like, "Hey, what's happening, right? Well, how are you?" And he said like, "I'm tired." Okay, why you're tired? Well, because I'm constantly working. Okay, why you're constantly working? Well, because I want to earn money. Now we're talking. Why you need those money? Well, I want to buy a boat in Croatia. That's cool. Why you need this boat? Well, I need this boat because I want to rest because I'm constantly at work. I was like, don't you think there's an easier way to do the stuff that you wanted to do? And this was literally the shortest coaching session that I did. 3 minutes, right? But the lack of questioning yourself, why you're doing stuff, brought him into the place when he was bitter. He was having what he wanted because he wanted more money, but he never understood why he need those, right? So maybe I'm supposed to start from this, but I don't like giving lectures just for the purpose of giving lectures. So again, coming back to the place where we started, if you will take at least one thing from this lecture and make your life easier, better, happier, just let me know because it will really make my day. And I'm really grateful to all of you for letting me sharing my story with you, for the organizers of Test Dive Conference, for creating the space so I'll be able to share my story with you again. And do me a favor, if you have any questions, ask them now, or at least approach to me at the end of a lecture if you want to bring something out of it. Shake my hand, it will really, really make my day happier. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for listening to my story. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions or comments? It might be your story as well. It doesn't have to be necessarily a question.
The tension.
Hi, my name is Beata. I was wondering when you were talking about this enthusiasm, how to find it. When I started working in IT, I thought I had it, but today, when we had so many obstacles along the way, I think I lost it. So how to find this enthusiasm that you were talking about?
Mm-hmm. That's a really brilliant question. So think about this. You've mentioned this, and pretty much the answer lies within what you already said. So you said that something happened along the way that took it away from you, right? Do you know what it is? You know. Okay. Is there a way to change it? Okay. So this is the worst part, that sometimes things, because there's always a bigger fish, are not within our hands, right? But I really believe that it's all about the decision that makes changes. And again, it is decision about me to accept the situation that I'm in right now and live the life without passion towards what I do, or the decision to figure out what the options are. And I'm not encouraging you to quit the job that you currently have, right? But the question is, what are the possibilities? What can you do to lighten up the fire that you have, right? Is there anything that we can do? Is there anything, maybe the people that are thinking in a similar way? Maybe there is some group that I can connect to, or maybe there are activities that I can do that actually made my early experience in IT really enjoyable part. Maybe there are some activities that I'm no longer doing because of this, because of the changes or the decisions that were made. And I will really focus on this, right? So think about, and I really like mind mapping technique for this. Think about writing the current emotions that you have in a mind map fashion. So you put yourself in the middle, then you draw all the emotions that you have, and for every single emotion, like why I'm feeling like this, or even the reasons for why you're feeling like this, right? And then you will have a clear understanding of what lies behind it. And I really believe that seeing is believing, so when you see all the issues that you are probably aware of but never thought about them, there probably will have one or maybe two reasons behind them. So I will start from that, right? There is one question in the front row.
Hey, Eva speaking. I'd like to refer first to Beata and her question, because I've heard a very nice quotation that this all working is about not losing enthusiasm, as Grzegorz said, between two fuck-ups, right? So it's about finding an enthusiasm between those two fuck-ups. That's what I've heard recently and really helps me out. But I wanted to ask you, how do you light up your passion to be so passionate and to talk with passion like this?
As my wife says, I never grow up. I get older, but I never grow up. But again, the friend of mine said once to me, if you're crying, stop doing stuff. If you want to do stuff, don't cry about this. So I never complain about how hard it is to be a father of three. Why? Because it was my decision to be a father of three. How I should complain on the decisions that I made? It will pretty much accuse me of either being stupid or not being aware of the decisions that I'm doing, or not thinking through the decisions that I made in my life, or doing any kind of a reckless actions like, woohoo, it'd be cool to have 3 kids, let's do it, right? No, there was a deeper thinking behind this. Whether we can afford this, whether we can make it, whether we have enough time to spend it with every single one of them, right? So I think that it's really, in my case, it's really understanding what drives me. It's really understanding that every single morning I enjoy waking up next to my wife, looking at her, looking at our kids, even if they are like, shouting, crying, spitting with a tea because they don't want to go to kindergarten and things like this. And sometimes it goes through the locked jaw, like, I really like what I do, right? But in the end of the day, I really enjoy my life. And this is, this is because I know why I'm doing this. So I believe that this will be the key for it. And for the practice, I would just have to make it. So it's with everything, when you're trying to create habits, when you're practicing something, it's not about having a high level of motivation all the time. Probably your motivation will be like a roller coaster. It's the level of consistency that will help you to overcome this. So it is a decision. Everything comes to this. I want to do it, okay, I won't cry about it. I don't want to do this, then I can cry. We have one more.
Hi, my name is Adam. I also like to feel like a kid sometimes. So could you make a magic trick for us?
Do you have a 200 Polish zloty bill? I can make it disappear. The short answer to this, yes. The long answer is no, because I did not brought even a single prop. I'm really sorry for this one. And this is something that I started to do. I started to retire from magic. Because there are reasons that are more important for me than doing magic. This is, if you look on my page on Facebook, there's literally no posts since 3 years probably, because I started to only serve my customers, my long-time customers, and I'm slowly dropping this part of my activities. Right? I know exactly why I'm doing this, why I'm doing magic, and I know exactly why I want to stop doing magic. So it comes to this moment of my life. But I can always do this, like. You're laughing at this? Come on, guys. Okay, do we have any questions?